day 28, and I love this chapter. We're going to go through some facts, a little bit of Hebrew tradition. It is called Eating the Story. Luke 22:14-16. This is the Passover meal. I have been so much looking forward to eating this Passover with you before I have to suffer, he said to them. For let me tell you, I won't eat it again until it's fulfilled in the kingdom of God. So humans are super unique in that we don't just eat to be nourished. We eat to mark celebrations, to mark meetings, to remember, to make moments meaningful. We are using food as a way of life and not just to have life. One time, and he's relating a story about one time they were doing a specific outreach, and his friend suggested they do a meal that would tell the story to people who have not ever experienced the Bible. So they had 12 different dishes to explain the story along the way. And for the Jewish people of Jesus' day, the Feast of Passover was in fact a story. It was an event itself. It was a reminder of how God had delivered the Hebrew people from slavery. It was as if they were eating their story of freedom. We don't know all the details of first century Passover, but we do know it included main things like family, food, wine, songs. The family would gather. They would gather all together. They would make sure that it was a laid out meal on a low table, and they would be reclining, because back then only free people had the luxury of reclining while eating. There's something interesting today how we sit and eat to make sure we're ready to get up. But for them, you recline on the ground on pillows because it's a sign that you are free. Anyway, then a task is given to a child. It's an honor task and they say, why is this night different from all the other nights? So the food, it is deeply meaningful. They'll have bread that is not leavened to remind them of a rapid departure from Egypt. They will have the lamb that is the symbol of their sacrifice. They will have wine flowing at different parts, because each cup of wine would have tasted of deliverance. It was a drink to life, a toast to liberation, a cup of freedom. And then the songs would come at various points as well, reminding them of the different deliverance stages, as well as urging them to look forward to the day when they would finally be set free from all opposition. Now, at this Passover with Jesus, perhaps the youngest disciple would have said, why is this night different from all the other nights? And Jesus would then say, and he would take the bread, he would break it, and he would say, take it, this is my body. And in the same way, taking the cup, this is the sign of the new covenant poured out for you. This is my blood. And I like this part that he's written in this chapter. I'm going to read it off to you. The story you have been eating all these years, the story that stretches back to Passover, the story that reaches forward to freedom, that story is standing before you here and now, talking and breathing and heart beating in my body and my blood and my humanity. As if he was trying to explain that with this bread and wine in a new way. He's basically telling the disciples that the Passover meal has been all about him, and that the past, present, and future itself is about Jesus. And so next time you are taking communion, may you encounter the breathing, heart-beating, flesh and blood humanity of King Jesus in the story of the bread and the wine.